Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you both for your service, and thanks for being here today. I listened to your early response, Secretary Driscoll, about the cost of the celebration that's planned. Just to be absolutely clear, I'm all in favor of celebrating the Army's 250th. I'm hoping maybe we'll celebrate the Navy's as well. Having some Marine Corps background. But I am struck by the cost, $25 to $40 million. As Senator King said, that's a pretty wide spread.
Hey everyone, welcome back to True Voice. I'm Andrew. If you're new here and believe in accountability, common sense, and patriotic values that serve people before parades, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you don't miss a single upload. All right, let's talk about what just went down in this Senate hearing. We got Senator Richard Blumenthal asking some very real, very necessary questions. And I gotta be honest, as a Democrat who loves this country and served in my own way, this stuff frustrates the hell out of me. Let's watch.
And you're saying that it's due to the damage that may be caused? Is that the result of having tanks going through the streets of Washington and possibly tearing up the streets? And what other damage would be done?
To the cost, Senator, I think from our perspective, we're optimistic and we'll be able to report to you after the parade if
But why have tanks? Why this kind of parade?
We believe we have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to fill up our recruiting pipeline with young Americans.
Wouldn't your preference be to save money in light of the budget cuts we're seeing for training programs, freezes on hiring, shrinking staff levels, deferring maintenance, jeopardizing equipment maintenance? These problems are not theoretical. Wouldn't you agree that this money could be better spent? We don't have unlimited funds.
Very sincerely, Senator, I think this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to tell the story of the American Army.
There are a lot of once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. We all have them. But it doesn't mean that we spend money extravagantly. In fact, it would be an honor to the Army to, in fact, devote those resources to where they're really needed. And let me just cite to you the fact that the National Guard Bureau has yet to be reimbursed $38 million by the Department of Army for its essential work during the presidential inaugural mission. It isn't a minor oversight. This mission demanded the Guard's expertise in security and logistics and emergency response, and the National Guard needs that money. Why are you stiffing the National Guard and spending $25 to $40 million on a parade?
I'm not aware of the $38 million that you're talking about, Senator. We just went down yesterday. That was one of the things that we're talking about. That, you know, we were talking about some of the things that we need to put out there that we've been working through. So I can follow up with you on that.
Well, I hope that you will, because I have a lot of trouble justifying to veterans who've been fired from positions in the federal government that we're spending potentially $40 million on a parade when they have been fired because supposedly we have to eliminate waste, including veterans who were in the Department of Veterans Affairs. I don't know how you can justify that kind of expenditure. Let me ask you, drone warfare. Are you satisfied that we are doing enough to protect our bases in this country and elsewhere against the swarms of small, lightweight drones, such as Ukraine used in its Operation Spiderweb, and such as terrorists used in the Middle East against our base in Jordan? I've visited that area. I've heard personal descriptions from the troops there about what they fear in our inability to defend them against these types of small, lightweight drones. Are you satisfied we're doing enough both on the offense to develop our drone warfare and in terms of defending our cities as well as our bases?
Senator, we are not doing enough. The current status quo is not sufficient. We are rapidly trying to iterate and prototype and work with companies who actually are deploying their technologies into Ukraine. I think this is probably an instance where the United States can be a fast follower. If we can ingest and suck out a lot of the lessons learned in the technology from Ukraine.
I'm going to interrupt because my time is about to expire, and I know the chairman will interrupt me, but I have visited the Ukraine drone factories. I've spent some time with their military talking about their drones, and I guarantee you they are at the tip of the spear. They are way ahead of us. We have a lot to learn from them, and it's not just a luxury or convenience. We are at risk because of the technology that they have developed, and the Russians are soon going to take from them, because that's the pattern in this war. The Ukrainians take a step, the Russians try to keep up with them on drone warfare. And I think we not only have a lot to learn, but we have an obligation to learn it. And I would like to ask you, just because my time has expired, for a briefing on this area, which I think is revolutionizing modern warfare. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, I think that's a very important goal. I would note for members that we will have a closed hearing immediately, 15 minutes after the adjournment of this. Yeah. And I would suggest that the senator would want to ask those questions.
I would love to a chance to address you on that topic in specific.
So let's do that.
Even if with respect, Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure I'll be able to attend the closed briefing. I'm going to try, but the briefing may not exhaust this topic. I would suggest a specific briefing on drone technology and warfare, if
all right. Well, there'll be no time limit and no limit on the subject matter. So we'll do the best we can, and I hope the senator will be able to attend. Senator Schmidt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We're talking about a $25 to $40 million military parade to celebrate the Army's 250th anniversary. And look, I respect the Army. I deeply respect our troops and their sacrifices. But let's be real. Do we need tanks rolling through the streets of Washington when we're cutting funds for training, freezing hiring, and even firing veterans from federal jobs? That's not patriotism. That's pageantry at the expense of priorities. Secretary Driscoll tries to justify this massive cost by talking about damage from tanks. You heard that right. The military is literally budgeting for tearing up the streets. That's our tax dollars, folks. Why not fix what's broken before we show off what looks shiny? And then Blumenthal hits them with a $38 million unpaid bill to the National Guard for their service during the presidential inauguration. That's not just an oversight. That's disrespect. These men and women showed up to protect the Capitol, and they still haven't been reimbursed. But we're planning a parade. Then we pivot to a critical national security threat, drones. Blumenthal asks if we're ready to deal with drone swarms like the ones Ukraine is using and that terrorists have deployed in the Middle East. And the response? We're not doing enough. That's not coming from critics. That's from military leadership themselves. Let me tell you something. I'm not anti-defense. I'm not anti-celebration. I'm pro-survival. If we're not protecting our bases and our people from modern threats because we're too busy planning photo ops, we've lost the plot. This isn't about being anti-military. It's about being pro-service, pro-veteran, and pro-America. The real strength of our military isn't in parades. It's in preparation. It's in taking care of our troops. It's in learning from what Ukraine's doing on the front lines and making sure we're not left in the dust. Senator Blumenthal wasn't grandstanding. He was speaking truth to waste. And we need more of that. What do you think? Should we spend millions on military parades? Or should we invest it in readiness, innovation, and taking care of those who already served? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. And if you believe in keeping America strong without wasting taxpayer money, you know what to do. Subscribe, like this video, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. This is True Voice. I'm Andrew. Stay loud, stay informed, and stay true.